After my son passed away, my daughter-in-law refused to let me see my grandkids. When I showed up at her doorstep with gifts, she slammed the door and yelled, "You're dead to us." I looked her in the eye and whispered, "You've no idea what's coming next." My name is Ellen. I'm 63. I live alone in a small house outside Billings, Montana. I used to have a full family. My husband passed from a stroke 12 years ago. Then I lost my son, Mark, in a car accident last year. After that, I lost my grandkids too. Not because they died, but because their mother, my daughter-in-law, Tessa, decided I didn't belong in their lives anymore. Mark was everything to me. He was my only child. Smart, kind, quiet type. He wasn't perfect, but he never made me feel unwanted. He met Tessa in college. She was pretty, loud, always had an opinion. She wasn't cruel in the beginning, not to me anyway, but I always had the feeling she didn't really like me. You can tell when someone's just pretending. Still, I played nice. Holidays, birthdays, babysitting when they needed it. I loved their kids like they were my own. My grandkids, Lily and Noah, meant the world to me. Mark was driving home from work. A truck ran a red light. Hit him straight on. He died on impact. Just like that, he was gone. The funeral was a blur. I cried every day for weeks. I tried to help Tessa, brought food, cleaned her kitchen, offered to take the kids to give her space. She stopped answering my calls. At first, I told myself she was grieving. That she needed time. I waited. 3 weeks after the funeral, I went to her house. I brought gifts, stuffed animals for the kids, and a necklace for her with Mark's initials. She opened the door and stared at me like I was dirt. "You shouldn't have come here," she said. I told her I just wanted to see the kids. I missed them. She snapped. "They don't need you. And neither do I." I stood there stunned, still holding the gifts, when she yelled, "You're dead to us." Then she slammed the door in my face. I didn't yell back. I didn't cry. I just stood there, shaking. And then I said something that came out of me without even thinking, "You've no idea what's coming next." That wasn't a threat. Not in the usual way. But it was a promise. Because if she was going to rip me away from my grandkids, erase my son's family like I was nothing, she was going to learn that I wasn't nothing. She had no idea who she was messing with. I found a lawyer. I filed for grandparent visitation rights. Tessa fought it hard. She brought her new boyfriend Shane to court, the one she started dating just 2 months after Mark died. Shane wore a nice jacket, but I saw the tattoos under the sleeves and the smug look on his face. Tessa told the judge I was unstable. That I had boundary issues. She said I tried to replace Mark with the kids. Lies. All lies. She even claimed I had shown up drunk around them. I haven't touched alcohol since 1984. The judge ruled in her favor. No visitation. He said he couldn't interfere with the mother's right to decide who the kids see. I felt like I'd been kicked in the chest. But if the law wasn't going to help me, I had to do it another way. I still had access to some of Mark's files. I checked his email, old tax papers, insurance records. That's how I found out Tessa had received $750,000 in life insurance after he died. She spent it fast, brand new Escalade, new furniture, designer clothes. She quit her job. I also found pictures of Shane on Facebook. Shirtless, holding beers, flashing money. He had moved into my son's house just 2 months after Mark died. She replaced him like he never existed. That lit something in me. His name was Ray. Former cop. Didn't ask questions. I told him I needed dirt on Shane and Tessa. Anything. Criminal record, sketchy habits, anything to use. 2 weeks later, Ray handed me a file. Shane had 2 DUIs, a restraining order from a woman in Denver, unpaid child support for a daughter he never sees, and a record of selling pills, oxy and benzos. Ray had followed him to a high school parking lot, where he handed off something in a little baggie. I had everything I needed. First, I mailed the report to CPS. Then I sent copies to the church where Tessa took the kids. Then I made sure Donna, her neighbor who gossips like it's her job, got a copy. I watched the slow burn. First, the Facebook post stopped. Then her friends stopped commenting. Shane disappeared from her feed. People started whispering. Tessa got paranoid. I could tell by the way she changed her routine, stopped going to the church, stopped bringing the kids to the park. But I wasn't finished. Mark had set up 2 college accounts for Lily and Noah. Around $21,000 each. Tessa had no clue they existed. But I did. I was listed as the custodian. I emptied both accounts and moved them into 2 private trusts under my name, to be used only when the kids turned 18. I also left a letter in each trust account, explaining what happened. Every lie, every move Tessa made to erase me. The truth would find them someday. I tipped the police anonymously about the drugs. It took time. But one night, they pulled him over. Found pills, a gun, and cash in the car. He got arrested. Tessa posted his bail, $50,000, in cash. From Mark's insurance money. A week later, Shane skipped court. Gone. Left her broke, humiliated, and alone. The house Tessa lived in wasn't hers. It was Mark's lease. When he died, it wasn't renewed. The landlord, an old man named George, had no clue she was still there. I made an offer. I bought the property. She got an eviction notice 30 days later. She called me in tears. Screamed on the phone. "You're destroying my life." I didn't yell back. I just said, "No, Tessa. You did that all on your own." Tessa moved out at the last second. I know because I drove by the house every morning for weeks, just to see if she'd leave. On day 29, her car was gone. The lawn was trashed, trash bags piled by the garage. The back window was broken. She didn't even clean the place before she left. She took the kids and vanished. No new address, no updates, nothing. I checked her social media. Deleted. She blocked my number. I tried calling her mom, who used to be friendly. She didn't answer either. For 2 months, I had no idea where my grandkids were. It was early September when I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. "Is this Ellen Harper?" a woman asked. "Yes. I'm a school nurse from Great Falls Elementary. Your name was listed as an emergency contact for Noah Harper." I froze. "Is he all right?" "He's fine," she said. "He just had a fall during recess." But his mother isn't answering any of the numbers she gave us. We tried 5 times. I asked, "Is he still there?" She said yes. I told her I was on my way. I didn't hesitate. I threw on my coat and drove straight to Great Falls, over 3 hours away. When I got there, Noah was sitting on a bench with an ice pack on his chin. He looked taller. A little skinnier. Same eyes as Mark. When he saw me, his face lit up. "Grandma?" I nearly fell apart. I signed him out and took him to get lunch. Chicken nuggets and fries. He talked like nothing had happened. "I missed you," he said through a mouthful of ketchup. "I missed you too." Then I asked him, "Where's your mom?" He looked down. "We live with someone. Not Shane. His name's Craig. Do you like him?" Noah shook his head. "He yells a lot. Mom cries sometimes." I pressed just enough. Not too much. Didn't want to scare him. But I got just enough to figure out something was wrong. I took him back to school, but I made a call the second I got in the car, straight to CPS. I gave them the new address, the school name, everything. The next week, I got another call. But not from CPS. This time it was a man. "Is this Ellen Harper?" he said. "Yes. I'm Craig." My heart started pounding. "You've been meddling in our lives," he said. "You think you're helping, but you're not. You need to back off." I stayed quiet. Then he said something that chilled me to my bones. "You don't know what she's told the kids about you." He hung up. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept wondering what lies Tessa was feeding them. Was she saying I hated them? That I gave up? That I didn't care? That I abandoned them? I had no proof. But I had a strong feeling Tessa was rewriting the past, turning me into the villain. 2 weeks later, I was back in Great Falls. I went to Noah's school again. This time, they wouldn't let me in. Tessa had updated the contact list and removed me. But I'd already found their new place. It was a rundown duplex with peeling paint and broken blinds. I watched from across the street, parked in my car. I waited until they left. When they were gone, I walked around back. The door to the storage shed was open. Inside, I saw a box with kids' stuff. I wasn't looking to steal anything, I just wanted to feel close to them again. Then I saw it. A pink notebook. Lily's name was written on the front. I opened it. And what I read made me want to scream. That was the title of one of the pages. In shaky, child handwriting, Lily wrote, "Grandma tried to take us. Mommy said she wanted to put us in foster care. Mommy says Grandma called the cops on Shane because she wants everyone we love to go away." There was more. "Grandma is mad Daddy died. Mommy said she blames us." I sat down in the dirt, shaking. My mouth went dry. Tessa hadn't just blocked me out. She had poisoned them against me. I made 2 decisions that night. I was going to prove Tessa was unfit. I was going to get custody, no matter how long it took. But I knew it wouldn't be easy. She was slippery. She knew how to play the victim. And now she had a new man to back her up. I'd have to get creative. Smarter. Sharper. And this time I wasn't going to warn her. I wasn't going to whisper through a door or say anything clever. I was just going to strike, in silence. Because this time, I wasn't just fighting for revenge. I was fighting for the truth. For my grandkids. For my son. I didn't sleep much after I read Lily's notebook. Those words haunted me. Grandma hates us. She wanted to put us in foster care. Mommy says Grandma blames us. All lies. And I knew exactly where they were coming from, straight from Tessa's mouth. I kept thinking about how easy it is for a parent to warp a kid's mind, to make them scared of someone who only wants to love them. I had to change tactics. I wasn't just going after Tessa anymore. I had to undo everything she'd fed into those kids' heads. But I couldn't just knock on the door and expect them to remember me as their grandma. Not when she'd been telling them for a year that I was dangerous. So I made a plan. A long one. This might sound crazy. I'm 63 years old. I had been retired from my job as a receptionist for 8 years. But I needed to be closer to the kids without drawing attention. So I applied for part-time cafeteria work at Great Falls Elementary. It wasn't glamorous. I wore a hairnet, served sloppy joes, wiped sticky trays. My back ached. But I got to see Noah at lunch. I watched him laugh with friends. I made sure he was eating. I saw Lily once or twice when I helped in the hallway. She didn't look happy. She looked tired. At least I knew they were okay, for now. It was a Wednesday afternoon, 2 weeks into the job. I was helping in the lunchroom when I saw Craig's truck pull up. He wasn't supposed to be there, pickup was for parents only. But there he was, stomping across the yard. Noah saw him and froze. He dropped his sandwich. Craig didn't say anything. Just grabbed Noah by the arm hard and pulled him toward the truck. It was rough, not normal. I dropped my tray and ran outside. "Hey!" I shouted. "Let him go." Craig turned and looked at me. His face twisted into a smile. "Just picking him up, Grandma." Noah wouldn't even look at me. A teacher ran over and broke it up before it got worse. But I could tell, Noah was scared. That moment confirmed everything I already feared. Craig wasn't just a deadbeat. He was dangerous. I know it's illegal. I'm not proud of it. But I had to see what was going on inside that house. And I knew they kept the back shed open, just like the first time I found Lily's diary. So I bought a cheap wildlife cam off Amazon, the kind hunters use. Motion activated. Small enough to hide behind some old flower pots outside their back window. It took 2 nights to get it set up. I had to wait until they were asleep. After that, I checked the footage every morning before my shift. On the 3rd night, I caught something. It was after midnight. The lights were still on in the living room. I saw Tessa pacing in front of the window with a drink in her hand. She was yelling. Then Craig came into view. He slammed something on the table. Tessa yelled again. Then I saw Lily, still in her pajamas, walk into the room. She was shaking. Craig pointed at her and shouted. She backed away. Tessa didn't protect her. She just sat down and started crying. I stopped the footage there. I knew what I had to do next. This time I didn't ask about visitation. I asked about emergency custody. I gave the lawyer everything, the diary, the footage, the police record I had on Craig, the eviction records, the CPS reports. He looked me in the eye and said, "We can try. But it's going to be a fight." I was ready. I don't know how she found out. Maybe Craig saw me near the house. Maybe she recognized my car in the school parking lot. Maybe Lily told her she saw me at school. But one night, I came home and found my front door wide open. The house had been tossed. Nothing was stolen, but things were moved. Boxes opened. The trust paperwork was gone. So was the letter I wrote to the kids. That letter told them everything. It explained the truth, how much I loved them, what really happened with Shane and the house. Gone. And I knew exactly who took it. The next day, a letter showed up at the school. Hand-delivered to the principal. It was from Tessa. She claimed I had been stalking the kids. That I had been seen snooping around their house. That I had a mental illness and was a threat. I was fired the same day. Just like that, I was cut off again. Tessa thinks she ended the game. She doesn't realize I already filed the emergency motion. She doesn't know about the new CPS tip, the one with full video proof. She doesn't know I have copies of everything. And most of all, she doesn't know what Lily left under that flower pot. A folded piece of paper, wrapped in a plastic bag. It had 4 words, written in her small handwriting. "Grandma, please help us." When I found that note from Lily, "Grandma, please help us," everything inside me broke. No more slow plans. No more waiting. No more hiding behind legal papers. This was war. And it was time to bring everything down. I drove straight to my lawyer's office and laid the note on his desk. He picked it up, read it slowly, and then said, "We're done playing defense." We filed an emergency order for full custody of Lily and Noah. With everything I'd collected, the CPS calls, the diary, the video footage, even Craig's arrest history, we had enough for a real case now. It was no longer about visitation. It was about saving them. But we needed a hearing. And the judge set it for 2 weeks later. That gave Tessa time. And she used every second of it. 4 days before the hearing, a woman from Adult Protective Services showed up at my door. Said they got a report that I was a danger to myself and delusional. Tessa had filed it. She claimed I was obsessed with the children, that I fantasized about kidnapping them, and that I had started hiding knives around my home in case they were attacked. The social worker looked around my place. Asked about medications. Took notes on the walls, the way I lived. I stayed calm. Answered everything straight. The woman left quietly. But I could see it. Tessa had tried to destroy my reputation before I could even walk into court. I didn't say anything. I let it build. Because she didn't know what I had next. Craig's ex-girlfriend reached out to me. She had heard he was back in Montana. Her name was Kelsey. She had seen one of the CPS documents I had sent out. Someone leaked it in a Facebook group. She emailed me. Said she had proof Craig had hit her, left her with bruises and a broken arm 3 years ago. He skipped his court date back then, disappeared across state lines. She still had the photos. And the police report. And a voicemail where he threatened her if she ever ran her mouth. My lawyer lit up when he saw the files. We added it to the evidence packet and submitted everything 48 hours before the hearing. It was over 300 pages long. Tessa showed up with a new lawyer, trying to look clean and composed. But she didn't know what was coming. Craig didn't show up. My lawyer opened with the video of Craig yelling through the window. Then we showed Lily's diary. The photos from the private investigator. The anonymous tip to CPS. The footage of Noah being yanked at school. Then we dropped the bomb, Craig's history of domestic violence. Kelsey's sworn statement. Her photos. The voicemail. The judge went quiet. Tessa sat frozen. Her hands were shaking. When she tried to speak, she broke down sobbing. None of that was my fault, she cried. I didn't know. But it didn't matter. The judge ordered temporary emergency custody to me, immediately. Tessa was to have no unsupervised contact until further evaluation. I'll never forget the way Noah ran to me that day. Or the way Lily held my hand so tight it went numb. It didn't stop there. While the custody hearing was wrapping up, another case was building, against Craig. With Kelsey's help, police found him hiding in a motel in Havre. He had pills on him. And cash. And a second fake ID. He was arrested again. This time he didn't get bail. But karma still wasn't done with Tessa. Turns out she had taken life insurance money and failed to report it properly on her taxes. The IRS showed up next. She owed over $120,000 in back taxes and penalties. She'd spent most of the money already. They seized her new car. Froze her bank accounts. Garnished her wages. Tessa ended up moving in with her sister in Idaho, working part-time at a gas station, and going through state-ordered parenting classes. Last I heard, Craig tried to call her from jail. She didn't accept the charges. It wasn't easy. At first, Lily wouldn't talk about what happened. She was scared of saying the wrong thing. Noah had nightmares. But I took them to therapy. I cooked meals they remembered from when they were little. I showed them old home videos of Mark, their dad. Laughing, playing, holding them as babies. I told them stories. Every single night. And slowly, they came back to me. One day Lily asked, "Grandma, did you really try to take us away before?" I looked her in the eye and said, "No, sweetheart. I tried to save you." She didn't say anything. She just hugged me. I won. But I lost pieces of myself along the way. I used to think revenge was about rage, about destroying the person who hurt you. But it's not. Real revenge? It's showing them you're still standing when they thought they buried you. It's watching their lies collapse on top of them, brick by brick. It's knowing that no matter how long it takes, the truth rises. And when it does, it takes everything back. Noah brought home a drawing from school. It was a picture of 3 people holding hands. He wrote our names in crooked letters, me, Grandma, and Lily. I asked him what it was. He said, "It's our family now." Yeah. It is.